Don't cry for me, White House staffers. The truth is, I will infect you. All through my tweeting, my mad existence, I broke my promise, won't keep my distance. I always say too much. Never mind the thousands of lies I have told to you. As for wearing masks and acting sane, that is nothing that I will ever do. So don't cry for me, Secret Service. Though COVID might just well kill you, while on my joyride I spread the virus. I broke my promise, won't keep my distance.
Look at the millions of people. She's saying, hear the glorious poor of the nation that are here today because they are taking the future into their own hands, and know that justice and liberty have been found only in General Perón leading the nation. I have found only everything I have done with the intention to occupy a political position. With General Perón in government, the position of vice presidency would be an option. But all I aspire to is love of the nation. And they're saying, Evita, Evita, we're with you. Have you ever heard of Evita Perón? Okay. Huh? Who? Madonna. Oh, yeah. We might play her. Let me put a Madonna on. Yeah, I just put her stuff on. And, that's what they meant in that song that this lady was singing. If you were to look at the people's faces, you would get an understanding of what
You'll think it's strange when I try to explain how I feel.
That's an American. It's probably been 10 or 15 or 20 of these made, mostly in Spanish, with a couple in English. I'll explain the history of this whole little thing, just to...
she's dressed up to the nines at 6s and 7s with you.
She headed a women's movement in Argentina. And when you go, just look on your thing. When you get time, your phone, and you'll just be shocked because the people here have no idea about, they just remember, like you did, Madonna, yeah. But this person was like a saint almost.
So I chose
She
freedom.
died died in 1952,
running around trying
but her husband died in 1974.
but nothing
When I was in South America, the reason I know about it because I used to read tabloids and everything down there, and he came back to become president in 70 or something like that.
don't cry for me, Argentina.
He had
The
another wife,
truth
she was
is
young
I
too.
never
But
left
this
you.
lady here,
Oh,
hey,
my
you'll see when you look through your
bad existence, I kept my promise. Don't
she
keep
said,
your
I kept my
distance.
promise about distance. You know what I mean? Keep your distance. Let me just run it back distance. Well, that's okay. We got the idea. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You might wonder why the subject today is Covita. And they're taking Covita and they're bouncing off Evita. Evita Peron. Evita Peron was married to Juan Peron, and he was the president of Argentina from 1946 to about 1952. And his wife was the reason he got elected. It wasn't, she's way more popular than him. You know, it's not like Obama and Michelle, because Michelle is more popular than he is. But this lady here was kind of almost like a saint down there. And it's about 10 or 15 ladies I got right here singing this song. And it's all very, very, we're not going to call it respectful, but I can show you
Bright dimensions where non-gamers
one
can
of
learn to
these
become
right here.
contributing members of society. Both hands.
Transcend humanity through gaming.
This is it. They're singing this song again. Different ladies this time. And if you see, the choir is over 2,000 people. You know what I mean? And you could hear the kind of reverence that goes through the music. And so you might wonder, well, why are we calling this Covita? It's because of the Lincoln Project. The Lincoln Project was that scene on the balcony when Don just threw his hand out like that and made his little wave and everything. And then the Lincoln Project is the same ones that behind, they got that 1776 stuff, all of them, all that stuff like that. Okay, now, we want to deal with the environment surrounding Evita Peron. I don't know if you can find it, but it's a German battleship that was that they scuttled in the river called a Grass Spree. I think it was called that in about 1944. One of the biggest German battleships in Argentina, or just.
German cruiser Admiral Graf Spee.
Or is that a German battleship that was scuttled
Yeah.
in the big river in in Argentina?
Of coordination
Yeah, Falkland Islands. Was it the Grass 3? Yeah, Grass. Okay, now I'm making a point about the Germans. Okay, Juan Perón. Later on, when you look at all the uniforms and everything, they was talking about fascists, but the biggest supporters in Argentina. Well, just think the boys in Brazil, every South American country you would go to, where was everybody from? Mainly Germany, 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 Germany. And the Gray Wolf, the movie The Gray Wolf, even says different. It says, it shows some things that it shows the Russians laughing at what they call the hoax of Adolf Hitler, half body or something being burned at Hitler's place there, and his wife Eva Braun, right? They said this is ridiculous, that it wasn't Hitler. Now, you've heard all the magic stories about German gold and everything. What Germany did, rob everybody that they knocked over, France and every other country, they took their gold automatically. They took their gold and they took their art and they took all of those things. Those are things of value. Huh?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. What's the name? Yeah. Okay. But okay, just remember, a lot of the stuff is fantasy. Some of the stuff is actually real. We'll be able to draw some of the reality from now. What does Evita Peron have to do with this on the balcony? You saw everybody singing, "Don't Cry for Me, your Rios, por mi Argentina," something like that. Evita Peron was Juan Peron's wife. I mean, she was his wife. They're calling it Covita because you've got to think now what they're thinking in their minds. What these white people and the Nazi influence of these white people, when they see that, when they see him doing that, what does it remind them of? Oh, Evita Peron singing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina," right? That's what's in their mind. Billions of dollars. Adolf Eichmann, all of them was captured down in Argentina. Okay, so it's no hoax. What happened? They say, now this is part that I can't prove, but I've seen documentaries of this, that Adolf Hitler got a plastic surgery. They brought him to Argentina. They had a big spatial place to them, just like Berchtesgaden in Germany, where Hitler would hang out up there. And if you look at the landscape and the mountains and the lakes and everything, it's exactly like northern Germany. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Oh yeah, okay. In these documentation that says that Hitler is saying with his plastic surgery and everything, and all the servants that was involved in this, they kind of knew what was going on. Yes, I knew this man was somebody, because when he walked in, everybody changed, and so I knew they was asking the lady, well, how did you know I could look at him and tell something was different, but his character, you can't hide how you carry yourself, And then they put most of his big boys on trial but a few of them got away, and that's where they went to Argentina. They had big financiers from Argentina. So those people welcomed them back to the big rich people. Remember, National Socialism. What's fascism? It's the government-controlled economy. You know, but freewheeling government control over the economy. You know what I mean? That's what fascism is under Mussolini, and that's what National Socialism is under Adolf Hitler. And why did they think, what made them think of Madonna on the balcony singing that song? Because this is a big sign to all them people. She's singing the song, "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina." Why? Because she was born in 1919, died in 52. I guess she would be 34, something like that. She got cancer. She traveled all over the world for Perón. You'll see the pictures. It would be millions of people at their rallies. She was the fire behind Juan Perón, and she kept him honest because she was a poor girl that got big. And she says in her singing that I chose freedom. And when she chose that, she got out getting around, checking everything out, and it was not satisfying. It was not interesting until she got involved in this political thing. And she was always talking about, mi corazón is in el pueblo de Argentina. And my heart is in the pueblo, the people of Argentina. This last speech she was giving, they was translating. The point is this. Here's the contact. By 1946, the Germans is super big in Argentina. And they're the richest. Remember, they've stolen everybody's gold. And they got big money. They got more gold than everybody. They loaded that gold on them planes and a couple of ships, and they brought them to Argentina. And their financiers, they were working to reestablish, let's call it a shadow Nazi government. And they did, under Juan Perón, they was able to institute a lot of stuff, and it didn't cost nobody a lot because they had the gold. And until Hitler died, maybe 62 or something like that, they say that's what that we can't prove that. But all the people that are interviewed are coming and saying, or came and said years ago, that this guy had a daughter, and the wife Eva Braun, you know, they had dinner, and they had bodyguards. He had whole big villas, you know. Nobody could come anywhere close to it. And the big rich people were Nazis. The big rich people were National Socialists, Nazis. And they gave him political cover to enter into the political arena with Juan Perón. That's clear. Because a lot of the progress that Argentina made at that time was because of the big gold they had. Remember, these guys are big financiers, and they're traveling all over the world managing all of that wealth. Managing all that wealth. So what's this Covita about? Covita, Avida? It lets the people know, just like this man, the first lecture I made when he got lectured, was Hitlerianism. Hitler's running all through his speeches, his pattern of behavior. Now, the people got lucky here in America. Why did they get lucky? They got lucky because they voted him out. They didn't vote out Adolf Hitler. If they would have left this boy in, the same thing happened to Germany, but not total destruction. But America is facing and have faced the same thing that Germany was facing. Everybody in Europe and everywhere around the world is happy. Hey man, we glad y'all pulled that off. You know, can you tell when you hear the news, BBC and all that? Hey man, I mean, they might be happier than we are. They're happy. The point is, they sending signals and counter signals to each other and everybody that know the history. Now, I want you to just imagine how many Negroes would have put this piece together like we just did tonight. How many? You gotta, it's too many pieces, you know what I mean, that don't fit. You have to, when you fit them together, you say, that's the face, that's what it looks like. But they ain't got no numbers on the other side, you know, so you can just look on this side, look on it, and pop them down, and you got a picture. You have to have a whole historical process going. And the people would not connect it. Now, everybody don't connect to this, but those people that have a direct line to Nazism and Nazi feeling, right, is sending messages to their friends by making fun, right, of this situation. Yeah, that's all it is. It's not all it is. And just like the song the white lady was singing, that lady, I looked her up a little bit. She did that song many times. A big play. It's one of the big plays. And she was saying in her interview, my voice is still strong enough, you know, she's getting older now, to carry that, you know, hey. The point I'm making about this is that we have a lot to do, and we have a lot of educating to do. Educating. And we have to have a feel of our environment. And I'm going to say some things, and they may not be in order, so kind of overlook it, but I will get the thing said. This is the 21st century. We have to think about 21st century, Allah, the Red Sea, Moses, and his people. Like right now. Now think of what that means. So 21st century. Allah opened up the sea. The Jews believe it, right? The Christians believe it, and the Muslims believe it. Hands down. That's a lot of people. And Musa, bless his heart, he challenged Pharaoh all the time. But let's look at the pattern, and let's see if there's any patterns that fit that. First of all, everybody else was just happy building pyramids, you know, it seemed like they must have been, and they wasn't that worried about it, you know, well, Pharaoh, that's all right. No big deal. You know, no matter what Pharaoh did, they, although archaeologists deny it, they said, remember in the part where they say, okay, you're going to make bricks without straw, you know. Now they look in the pyramids and they don't find that. They find that everything is there. But what does this mean to us? It means that if you got what's going on right now, you're going to have a lot of faith. And one thing I get from that song and that stuff like that is unfulfilled dreams. Don't cry for me, Argentina, because I got cancer. She got cancer at a real young age. When you look at it, you see millions of people. I mean, they was ecstatic. Even, on at her tomb, La Tumba Sin Paz, means even in her tomb has not had peace. They used to have a body lying in the state. She was embalmed for a long time. But then the poor guard that was sitting there watching her all that time, he just opened the thing and had sex with the dead body. Yes, he did. And the tomb is raided over and over again. Well, you see, that's those programs. What happened to the cadaver? That's what they say, is the body. They've raided the tomb many times. Different political parties. The people cannot stand. First, it was the biggest and first women's liberation movement, decades ahead of time, in South America. And if you would ever live there, you would see if anybody needed liberating, it would be the women down there. Unless they was fine. If they was fine, it's okay. You get somebody to look out for you, till you get old, and then that's it too. So what this says to us is, like right now, remember we always talk about there's a great, number one, she had black hair. Well, no, don't worry. So did, what's her name, have black hair? Eva Peron? She had black hair, but you'll see it on different pictures. She must have dyed it. So Madonna played the part, But you see Madonna in the early, when she was younger, her hair was black. Okay, so, but now down there, just a footnote, rubias are special. When I was in South America, and they would say to me, they would see that a lot of the runners was was white girls. Let's just say what they was. Because the black girls, I would make them, it was prejudice at that time, I would make them the watchers of the white girls. So if we had a plane with 3 white girls on there, it's in those days, it was early, so they say they're carrying 1 kilo apiece. Well, the black girl would not be, she wouldn't be carrying nothing. She'd be watching them, right? So down there, I would be interacting with all these people, and so the brothers, the Colombians, how can you, Anichi, how can you be, So I pointed to a poster, a hippie poster. It had not King, well, that might have been King Kong holding the white lady, and the white lady is hugging him. You know what I mean? Or 76, remember when the white girl is in the water and King Kong picks her up and put her in a hand and he blow dries her, and she's going through all it's clear in those days, because it's clear from all of them, the old King Kong, 1930s, it's all clear, Beauty and the Beast, that this monkey is a nigger and this is a white woman. And they say the old tribal chief, when they're on Kong Island, whatever it is, a new one, in the 70s. I'll give you, it was 7 or 8 nigger women for that one white lady. I don't know if you remember that. But that's the whole deal. I'll give you 7 of these nigger women for that one white lady. They're easy. Simple as that. But here's the point. With all of these things living in the world that we living in, and the odds of seeing, now you got to remember, everywhere we go, we see the same story. If you're in South Africa, you're looking at the people, they're getting ready to get liberated, they're getting ready to vote for the man Mandela. You know, everybody's happy, everybody's fired up, and you're looking, and you tell them, I told them in the lectures, you're not going to build no 5 million. The ANC, I said, it ain't going to happen. Why? We done watched every African country. And what's this, Kiku Sele Africa, that beautiful song about Africa, you know, that they sang at all the funerals and the national anthems in South Africa. Yeah, anyway, we know it. We done all heard it a lot. But the South African dream went bust. It went bust. Okay. The Kenyan dream, the great unity, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, the East African Union, they used to call it, all of that went bust. Africa is just starting to put their feet kind of together. Any revolution, the French Revolution, a few days after the French Revolution, they got Robespierre and the guillotine. Do y'all ever read about that in history? Taking people to the guillotine, you know, that thing that chops your head off? Huh? Yeah. At first, yeah. But remember, when that stuff get going, everybody's headed to the guillotine. If you can't run or hide, you going to the guillotine. Robespierre and his boys. What? To the guillotine, because look at Iran. Because a lot of people ask me, do you feel bad about all of what you put into Iran and how things were? I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I said, not only was I doing something good, now remember, every time I get a chance to talk to the people of Iran, I go right into it. Why? Because they are so blessed, but they don't know that. See, a lot of them haven't looked at the whole world history, and you try to find somebody that song came out like they was hearing it in their heart. Where was it at? Nobody else. Only in Iran. Remember, this is over 40 years now, the revolution. It's done suffered at the hands of every kind of fitna you can name. We had a part in managing that. If a couple of people, which they always do, they haven't been able to destroy that. They've been able to destroy everything. And all that greater America the Great, shoot, they had the Whiskey Rebellion in 1790-something, George Washington's time. Shays Rebellion, yeah, they had, because the white folks wanted to, these white folks wanted to charge the poor white folks a whiskey tax. White folks saved their money, like when they got all their stuff together, they would make whiskey. Not that they was all from Ireland and everything, but they made whiskey. And whiskey tided them over. Not only they liked to drink it, you know, used to call America the Alcoholic Republic. There's a book called The Alcoholic Republic. When you went to court in the old days, you can't do it now. They'd all have a drink, judge have a drink, the defendant have a drink, everybody have a good slug, and then they get down to business, or 1 or 2 slugs, then they get down to business. But here's the point. Yeah, half the time in the saloon. Yeah. But you have to look at why we don't feel despondent about some of the things that's going on in Iran, because Iran is still there. They still have everything they planned intact. And they have been under attack all the time, and they're still here. I'm sitting back here ecstatic. The peripheral dummies, my old friends, they just formed a little idea, and they have not been successful. That's why we're not hey, I used to run all over this country back and forth, and I never have felt like that I didn't make a huge contribution to Islam. In fact, I feel like I made probably more than they did because I spoke English and I could, whip people up a little bit. And of course, but now, go back to the point. Musa was carried across the sea and Pharaoh was drowned. This is kind of common knowledge. But remember, Musa didn't organize the people till he got across the sea. Does anybody remember that? 70 leaders, and he didn't organize the people. Allah took them other people out. Okay? We might sound crazy saying, yeah, boss man, we just gave you a chance, you passed it up. Look at the pattern that's going on. With all the stuff they've done against us, have they been successful? Absolutely not. We said 2 years ago that we're going to begin to claim, that the benefits from what's going on, that because you did this to us, that's why this, that, and other is happening to you. Does anybody remember that? That's what we have been saying. Do we feel it's true? Of course we feel it's true. Okay. So I want to talk for a minute about our form of resistance, our method of resistance. Discipline to counter effects of the system and the domesticated system. And what is the cost to that system? Okay. We've talked about domesticating the system. We have domesticated the system. Why we domesticated the system? Because the system does stuff to us, but we can hold out longer. Like they want us to sell the property over there. They've been wanting us to sell it for look like 20 years or so. And they do stuff to make us do that. Sometimes they had $11,000 something or other, I don't know if anybody remember, for that property over there. And I said, $11,000. So I said, you got the wrong number. Everything on here is incorrect. Like lot 16, lot 15, and lot something else. I said, our lot is 13. You know what I mean? I don't know if you remember that. Our lot is number 13. Okay. But they've been busy trying to get us to move on their behalf. Now, what is domesticating the system and the cost to the system? And momentum, or any momentum, any focus taken at this end will be returned at the other end. What does that mean? Anything that they do to us, like just funny stuff. This morning or last night, they was talking about it so cold, scared me to death, so I slept upstairs. I slept upstairs and I went to bed around 2 or 3 o'clock this morning, and I woke up fresh as a daisy around 7 or 8, ready to go. But when I sleep downstairs, I wake up groggy, and I go back to sleep. And it may be way up in the day when I wake up, when I sleep downstairs. When I sleep upstairs, I wake up just like I was a few years ago, fresh and ready to go. That's the way I woke up this morning. So I just waited and laid it, and I just wrote down all of these things while I'm laying on my side. And I could tell all kind of little funny stuff. Like we put a roof over here, and we went up on the roof sometime, and you could see the slice of stuff, paper, and I just roll over the top of it, and it wouldn't be no leak, right? Same thing on the other roofs. We done did them all over all the time. So on that little hole over there, we went way above it, way over here, way over there, right? So it would be impossible for it to be a leak on top of that. And then we sealed it up too. We didn't seal up mine. The point is, I put little stuff on the plumbing, the glue stuff, and under my sink in the kitchen upstairs. I'll put that glue on, and then I'll let it dry, and it won't leak at all. Then I'll put some more on top of this. I got gobs of glue so thick, okay. Downstairs where I'm at, nothing leaks. But maybe somebody pulls it or shakes it, and it starts leaking again and again and again. I mean, I have stuff in my house where I hear big bang, bang, and then I go up there and look. I said, who's that breaking the floor? Anyway, long story. The point is, I deal with that stuff all the time. All the time. Okay, I mentioned the plagues of Moses. Okay, boss man, you don't straighten up, you're going to get lice and frogs and all of that stuff. And then down near the end, he says, Pharaoh said, we're going to kill all your young people, da 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 da. And Moses says, oh no. I don't know, well, you probably, it allows in the Ten Commandments, And he said, that's one of the things that God gonna do to you. The firstborn of each one of your children gonna die. That's where the Passover come from. This thing gonna swoop through, and you put that sheep's blood, whatever it is, on your door, and that fog gonna pass over your house. That's what the greatest celebration the Jews have up to today is the Passover. That God's plague would pass over. That's what they say in their book, right? Everybody know the Passover. All right. So, we have a situation where what we're saying is, and we're firm on it, they want us to go back to California and win our case and do that. We said, no, we ain't going back. We want you to just stand up and say we made a mistake, and you, to prove that you serious, you give us so much amount of money for all the problem. You ain't giving us nothing. You didn't cause us that much problem. And in Germany, when Americans would run over one tree in the forest with a tank or something, the Germans would charge them for that tree and any trees that it might produce, which that's on a sliding scale, right? So the trouble that the government then caused us, that's up to Allah. But what we're gonna do is the same thing we've been doing. We sticking like glue till we're not budging till we get ready, right? And anything you take off on this end, that's what this means. Allah gonna give it to us on the other end. That's why we feel very comfortable about 25 years. It may be more. It may be more. And it don't make no difference if it's tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because we believe, or now, the more good we do, the better things are gonna be. And so you have the ability to design, to make yourself. So whatever they take off on this end, and we have said it about biodegradable, psychodegradable, all that stuff, that we're going to take the stuff they give us or throw on us and turn it into fertilizer, good stuff. Okay. So this is preemptive domestication. Like files in Oakland that were stolen. So the ability to sustain what we're now calling design fitna in a counteroffensive. Right? In other words, they studying us. We make design fitna against them. They restudy us and they throw some more of their design fitna. You know, you can see it's all designed. Very purposely, very thought out. But it ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. We could sustain this for just a long time. We can sustain it. We've been sustaining it. Now, when you walk around, you'll see that we need floors down there. We need painting. We need to fix everything we have needs something done to it. So everything that they do to us to slow us down, it's going to come in on another way. Yeah. Khadijah's statement, 12/2/13 at our program in Oakland. You ought to the white man got you figured out, so you might as well give up. That's exactly what she said. And of course, he should have me figured out. After all these years, he'd be stupid. But we got him figured out too. And this 2013, just go back to Design Fitna, 2011. Go back to this time. It will be 10 years ago. Because they had arranged things for on February the 11th, which would be the anniversary of the revolution in Iran, that they were supposed to have this big show in Egypt. Remember, in Egypt, that's when everybody was talking about, this is when it's going to happen. They didn't set it up like that to happen. And the Arab Spring, we said, there ain't going to be none of that. That's what we told them then. It was clear that they was hooking all of this up to fit in the revolution in Iran happened, and Imam Khomeini got back on this day, and that way they call it the 10 days of dawn, and on February the 11th, it all jumped off, the whole new Islamic Republic. We told them, no, it ain't gonna. That's definitely arranged. That's arranged. And we said it here. Now, nobody else said it. They had Muhammad Al-Asi and Masood Shajare, from the sun. They done sent me on plenty of wild goose chases. No problem, no problem. I got a chance to see Switzerland. You know, they sent me to Switzerland. I hadn't been to Switzerland before. It was a wild goose chase, but fine. I had a chance to go to Switzerland and to make sure that I get there after the pilot. We was over there at Dallas, and the pilot finally came on. He said, this has never happened before. So I already knew they waiting on the brother. This has never happened before. That means they running could you put just a pinch of heat, just a pinch of heat. Okay, let's get back to, yes.
Okay. Someone says you should just give up because the white man got you figured out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what? What you supposed to do when you give up?
Well, no, give up, kind of retire, like the lawyer called me. The public defender, which is a public pretender, of course. Just when I was leaving Reno, the white lady that won the case for me, but she kept the police out of it. The one I told the court I didn't want her. Anyway, she says, why don't you just let them have Oakland and you stay in D.C.? Same thing that the FBI told me. Right? Just let him have Oakland. And okay, what would I do? I would retire. My friend that traveled, Sudanese brother, he was here a while ago. So he's seen a lot of this. We used to run together every morning in the masjid in Oakland. Maybe there's some came up. He says, maybe since you're getting a little older, they might be taking it a little easy on you. So just, I have my own ideas about that. They're not taking it easy on us because we've developed a policy where we're not going to take it easy on them. You got to remember, nobody has had them where they've had where we have them. We have to remember where we are and what we're doing. Just because there's no million people here, that ain't no big deal. That don't have nothing to do with it. It has to do with, let's look at it like this. Let's look, well, what the notes here said, a white man is a fool. That's just what our notes say. Easy to trap. Look who he uses. I have here Bahi Abdul Malik and those people. And also, the first go-round was like when Hassan Nuruddin and all those people were part of they're sitting right up next to me. And when they left, what he said was, you don't know what you're up against. That was in 1985, I guess. What, 35 years ago? He didn't know what he was up against. This is not arrogance. What I mean is, we had already put together, you could see some of the writings. When they stole the accordion folder and others, I put Big Victory. What Big Victory is anybody talking about? Big Victory is exactly what we're talking about right now. We've had a whole process of victories. Number one, when the Arab Spring was supposed to be coming, we say, you ain't gonna have no Arab Spring. We know you're not gonna have no Arab Spring. And why? You look at Al-Nadha party in Tunisia. Who was that? Rashid Ghanouchi. We had 1,000 programs with Rashid Ghanouchi, Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui. All of the people now that have 10 to 15 years in, 30 and 40 years ago, we were having programs together. All of us were on the same side. We understand each other. We understand them, and we understand, I remember about 10 years ago, something when I was talking to Zafar on the phone, because I would always call him and say, well, you can put me up on what's going on. So he would begin to put me up on what's going on. And I would dutifully listen. And not that I didn't know the stuff already, or not that I didn't know better than him. So finally he was telling me, well, looks like Al-Nadha in Tunisia is going to make a move, and then I said, don't you think it'll happen quicker in Egypt? Because you could see they had it, Egypt wrote down, Egypt gonna jump off first. But what happened? Egypt jumped off bigger and they was pushing Egypt and they killed all the Ikhwanis. And we said, don't take power. El Nada in Tunisia looked up and said, hey, and they had the power, they relinquished it to play a part in the new ruling structure, but not to lead it. Why? It was just clear. If they give you leadership, then they're going to make sure, because Muslims always wanted power, power, power. But when it come time to get power, we said, don't take it. Don't take power, because if you do, they're not going to allow you, the Israelis, the Americans, they're not going to allow you to fix nothing. Then the people going to blame it all on you, right? That was clear what Egypt was set up like that. Hey, okay, now, what is strategic brilliance? What is strategic management? What is design fitna? And what is counter encirclement? And what is tafweed and tawakkul? What type of cocktail? Now, we talk about tafweed, tawakkul, and all of that, right? And rida. But what type of cocktail are we using against boss man? How much strategic management are we using? Remember, tafweed, remember, we've surrendered everything to Allah. But we're going to just, for practice, we're going to mix in a little, right? Design fitna. Strategic management, counter encirclement. That's what we're going to do to them. It's not that what we're going to do. That's what we do to them all the time. We do that. I just want everybody to we do that. We're not, so they can slow this down. That don't make no difference. That's actually, the way we look at it, that's good. Because we're having that effect because we plan that. But how much tawakkul you're putting in this? How much design fitna? In other words, we got a cocktail that we're serving them. It's a cocktail that's all stirred up. It's a smoothie almost. Yes, it is. But it's got all the blends of everything we've been training with. How much strategic management under conditions of repression, right, is in that mix? Like bananas and strawberries and all of that is in the mix. Okay. That means we got certain benefits. The benefit of arrogance and ignorance. Boy, that's a wonderful combination for your enemy to have. And it's deadly for you to have. Arrogance and ignorance. Has it been displayed? Of course. Let's see. It's been displayed in Afghanistan. If they didn't already run the Russians out and scared everybody else away. Okay, now our focus on that go back decades. We could tell the Afghanis they're going to hold on because they're tough. They already dirt poor and they don't have nothing. Right? They just don't, right? So what you going to do to them? They killed the Russians did 1.6 million. That's 10% of the population. It was 16 million. 1.6 million people with them Russian helicopters. And the minute they got them Stingers, they brought them down. Then the dumb U.S. come like, okay, we done finished up now. We need those Stingers back. So everybody was laughing. What happened is, just like what they do in Iran, they just took the Stinger apart and marked it. Piece number 1, that goes there. Take the other piece off. Piece number 2, piece number 3, and lay it all out, right? Remember re-engineering what the this was several years ago when Iran landed the American drone. The first one they took. They just took it and knocked it over and re-engineered it. Now you can go there, they re-engineered it and updated it. So now Iran's number 4 in the world on drones, all size drones, just re-engineering. It reminds us of the old thing. It was 3 B-29s. That's the Super Fortress, not the B-17, but the B-29, that big silver-looking. That thing had all the latest technology and all kind of gyroscopes in it. I mean, because at the beginning of the war, you might have this kind of weapon. When the war is over, they done already jumped 2 generations in weaponry just during a 4-year war. So at one of the 3 of those B-29s was flying over Russia, and then they landed and they did some delivery or something, and the Russians never gave them back. The next year, when they had their annual Russian parade where all the big stuff goes by, they had 4 B-29s fly over. The Russians just took it apart and manufactured all those pieces, right? And then they got another B-29. That put Russia way up in on the bombing thing, on bombers. Well, they was way back in the Stone Age in some weapons. The point is this. This method that we're using is because America is arrogant, because America is ignorant. Pharaoh was arrogant. He was God, that's what he was thinking, I'm the God, So that's total ignorance, right? He's not going to let the people go, no matter what signs he see, right? And then he got to be crazy because the Red Sea opened up and they walked right across on dry land. And he says, hey, let's get them, boys, with all that armor. He didn't tell them hey, it's just precaution. Take your armor off and just sit there somewhere and we'll go get them like this. No. He just doubled up on himself, right? He doubled up on himself. So when the water come in, there's got to be a miracle. The man is not stupid. He's a highly educated, this man in Egypt, the Pharaoh. And he ain't got enough sense to look at that water opening up and saying, this is a little different here. This is not in the nature of things. Hold it, y'all. We got to do a little study. We got to have a little research and development here. We got to figure out H2O is water. What did it do? How did it come down? Did it come down in drops or sleet, snow, or whatever it do? Oh, in this area it come down in the snow. That area come down in the rain. That area, oh my goodness. So if this is the ocean, well, the Red Sea, opening up, right? Well, I'm not going to be stupid and drive me and my homeboys down in there. Hey, no, man, I don't know. That don't look too good. We'll wait till next week. We'll do a little study on it. We'll think it over. They can't go nowhere, right? We'll just get some boats. So we'll do what we want to do. But I'm not going down there. That's because of arrogance. Arrogance. I'm the baddest thing in town. I'm running this like old, I don't know, what was that, Nimrod or Abraham talking to the guy. And he's saying, I cause life and I cause death. So Abraham said, well, you cause the sun, my Lord causes the sun to rise in the east and set in the west. So what did y'all do? Because he's saying, I cause life, I cause death. I'm running this show. So good. make the sun rise in the west and set in the east then, if you so bad. That is very simple. Look, is the encirclement in economy? Yes, it is. Is it in the health arena? Yes. Is it in the social arena? How's America doing? Or is America under attack under all conditions, in every place and in every way? Are they forced to? You can't make no money right now. Then if you can't make no money, we're going to have to give you money. Because we can't stand no rebellion right now, right? We got to give you money. Like they got the first one they had out on a couple of trees, and they gave that to white folks. All they had to do was say, we think we need money, and they gave them money. Big money. Just me and you, they gave $1,200, $600 extra in our thing. Whatever it is, you go deeper in debt. At some time, they got all kind of new hanky-panky things on the debt. But there'll come a time when all of that comes due. The other thing, remember when the big boy gets sick or cold and start getting a little weaker, all other little guys that you just slapped upside the head? That's why we were lucky in Oakland. We call it luck. We never did no hurt to nobody, but still, there was a few people who were so jealous. Suppose we'd have been really dictatorial and adversarial as far as the people. Boy, that'd have been bad. But I mean, just a few jealous people was glad to see us go. Yeah, you ain't so bad now. Driving down, they was actually mad when we would drive down the street. And their girlfriends would look, woo, look what Big Hank, and then they'd look at, or even white folks would do it. We'd drive down the street in them big cars, and we used to pull up to white folks. They might have a station wagon, a car full of kids, and we'd drive up in them big bad rides and look at the guy's wife, and then look at the car, and then look at the kids. You know, with old snarl. It was kind of mean to do that. Daddy, look at those niggers. Well, they got that old raggedy station wagon, and we riding. What's wrong with you? You white. You ain't even got no Cadillac or Benz and all them miles of feed. What's wrong with you? And you white too. You white. You all right. And here we are, niggas. It was kind of mean-spirited, but we was young and stupid in those days. But it put something on the people. Now, Strike Force cocktail. Why this method? Why would we use this method we're using when they are afflicted by arrogance and ignorance? It's because they are afflicted by arrogance and ignorance. Right? They have a disease. It's called kibber. And jahil. It's kibber. It's fat-headed. Mustakbirun. This is all on our side. This is all on our side. This is for us. It's a gift. Okay? All the diseases that the system have, it should be, our people should be able to see those. They should be able to see them and make a decision. You know. Okay, with our people, we're not trying to make nobody do nothing. We're just trying to let people see this is your boss man who you worship. Is he really that smart? or are you that dumb? When I say dumb, that means the white man make us, we consider it a privilege to act on his stage in any part he gives us. Now, he's not going to give you a good part. All good parts is taken by him. We talked about some information we received the other day about people that act funny. We got cars out there, okay? We tell the people that, hey, you can come fix the car. You can give us a little token to replenish us a little bit. And if they don't come, they don't come. But those same people, you got to remember, maybe their mother and their sister might have been killed in a plane crash, which technically it was. You know, they was. We don't know how all of this stuff is working preemptive Allah, because remember, Allah is not preemptive, because now is now for me and you. Yesterday was yesterday for me and you. Tomorrow is tomorrow for me and you. But for Allah, it just is. You know, it is. Remember when, of course it's a biblical rendition, when Moses is sent out to get all of Pharaoh's stuff burned out of him. And now he's ready to go to work. And then Allah called him, and there's a bush up there burning, but it ain't consumed. This is a big deal. How can this happen? So, of course, Allah is speaking to him. Who should I tell him when I go back to Egypt? Who sent me? He said, tell him I am who I am. That's what I tell him I am. Right? Of course, it's biblical. But it's the same thing. I am Allah, you know. Just tell them Allah sent you, that's all. You don't have to go through no changes. Here's the point. Everything that we're up against is beyond our physical power to do anything about it. It just is. I mean, to physically say, boss man, you got to stop and you got to be good. We can't do that. So we have to use what Allah give us. And we have to keep him off balance. And so he don't know, he has no idea whether what he's doing, well, okay, it's all scripturally perfect. You messing with our servant over there, therefore these bad things are going to happen to you. This is the way it looks to us, right? It looks like that to other people too. Not right away, but we have to have sabr and hold on until people get the picture that it's best for me, it's best for us, it's best for our people to play a big part, like the lady said, take our future in our own hands. Why? Because boss man cannot give you a good future because he don't have it. Boss man can only give people a job. That's all he can give him a job, and it's a temporary job because he'll be out of work himself pretty soon. It's kind of, no, it's clear. It don't make it. This stuff does not make a difference. But our people have. Not our people, the people. This is the people. The people was influenced by Pharaoh, and it looked like he can't never, go nowhere because he's here. He's saying, I am the one that's going to feed you or starve you to death. That's what he's telling everybody. I'm the one going to do all of that. And it's this government that's telling the people, and they believe it. We don't believe it. You can't come back from somewhere you've never been, and you can't give peace, harmony, tranquility, and love to nobody because you don't have it. Just don't have it. So boss man can't give us technically what we want. peace and tranquil, loving society? Of course that was what we want. He can't give it to you because he ain't got it. He don't even believe it's possible. Okay, let me speed up here. Accelerated decline, if anybody remembers, we've talked about that for a decade, more than that. So it's our job to assist in the acceleration of the decline of North America. Does anybody remember that our stuff talked about that? Now just think about it. Is his decline accelerating or is he going on the upswing? Right? It's going down. What about inertia? What about momentum? Why do the police on the highway out there, why is he always at the bottom of the hill and never at the top? Because you get to driving down that hill and the speed limit is 70 and all these new cars, you're doing 85 and you don't feel it. You don't feel it. 85 ain't nothing. Years ago, them old cars, if you was doing 85, they'd be shaking and everything, but people still be driving 85. Because remember in the old days, the thing was, how fast will this car go? And people tried it. Them old Chevys, they tried, they was, okay. How fast will this thing go? How far will it go? It don't look like it'll go too far right now. What part are we going to play in rebuilding the system? Will we allow for ourselves to experiment with our own future or let him write our future? That's what's happening right now. Yeah. So America's decline. And we take credit for it because we trap him in whatever we want to trap him in because of his ignorance, because of his arrogance. So this is a new era in resistance. Yep. It's a whole new dimension in resistance. The old resistance, physical resistance, revolutionary resistance, is that what we should use now? Or is Allah giving us something new to implement? I believe this we would implement. I believe, based on what we have, based on the point that you might say and we might feel we got to have a cadre of people teach and train the folks and help them rise up. Actually, it wasn't like that. The prophets, all the prophets and those people, they get freedom first, then they organize. Yeah, then they organize the people. But we think, just think about it, we got to organize the people and make them do that or help them to do that. Where a boss man is not going to allow you, he know that this is the rule. Everybody you think I'm going to sit here and let you raise up a group of people and them people going to bring me down? Absolutely not. What does that do? As these systems begin to crumble, we look better in the eyes of the people because we've been telling them how it's going to happen. And we ain't wasted no energy. Okay, we do a few things, but we're not going to work ourselves. Allah going to fix boss man. If we go over to care for a few times and pass out a few things, it's a training exercise. We tell them leave the Black Lives Matter out of there. Do you know when we went to care? The first time we went to care, talking about Black Lives Matter, it was a whole building full of white folks coming out. And we couldn't go in. You talking about Jim Crow? That's Carecrow. Or scare.
I remember that video.
No, all the white folks coming out, and we can't go in. Remember that? That's insanity. We didn't get mad. We just said, oh, well, you look at that. And the last time we came, it was about 6 carloads of Suburbans. All of them. Usually they play like they don't see you. That's one kind of. This time, and it was just, so we just, okay, we got that covered. The demonstrations we did down there, don't mean nothing to us except an examination. We want to see. First, let's just go down and take a look. We go down and take a look. Then the police cut us off. It's on the thing, right? That's on there. When the sheriff, the police cut us off, you think you want to let them white people come? We wouldn't let them. I said, well, it's pretty nice police. So the next day, we come with just what he was saying that they don't want to happen. Oh, you're just the nicest white folks. Oh, I just falling all down. But at the same time, we're not like, oh, we got to get them so they'll rise up. Oh, man, this Black Lives Matter stuff is, do they have a plan? No, they have a plan. They don't have one. And we're not going to give them no plan. We're just going to tell them the history and everything. And then when they move all the police over here and they're going to start their physical stuff, so we just announce it like a fighter announces it. Okay, here they go. Let me give you a blow. That's what we're doing, right? And we're not mad at nobody, and we're not tired. We're not using up no energy. We're just having a good time and going down and mixing with the people. But we're not going crazy, man, these people is the police is the police, these people is the police, and they the police too, which is correct, right? Because here go our homeboy, the big old white boy. Yeah, I said, there you go, something like that, right? So they get embarrassed. Tell the truth. To me, it seemed like we was making so much fun of them, they was embarrassed to follow that script that they already had laid out. That's what it seemed like. If somebody else saw something different, we could mix it up and just discuss it. But anyway, then the Latino guy, he come over on the bicycle after we came and talked a little bit about America stole Mexico. Mexico, California was not, I said, California wasn't Mexico. I didn't say, where the hell are you from? But the white folks know California, San Jose, San Francisco. I said, and then somebody must have sent him a little message. He got back on his bike and kind of cruised off because he'd already blew it. He was going to make me look like a fool, and he just, it's fun. Then the day right over there when the lawnmower come by making all that noise and the police come by, As-Salamu Alaikum, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, you got to remember, we're managing our own store. We are managing our own store. They may come and steal everything out of there, drop itching powder in there. Don't make us no difference because we're not, look, you have to look at, we have our own strategies, and our strategies should be different than what they expect. Different. They expect us to stay up all night worrying about building an army. No, build no army. We should build an army. Because we turn that over to Allah. Allah gonna take care of you. Allah took care of Musa alayhi salam, took care of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, took care of Job, took care of everybody. Hooked everybody up, right? They didn't do nothing, yeah, well, I'm gonna go down and rock the boat a little bit, talk trash, and run old Pharaoh off. Right? It would be ridiculous. Okay, let me speed up. The point I'm making about all of us, about what they're doing, we're an announcer, like they have as a name, Mundir. Mundir is like a warner. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We have the scriptures, we have everything, so we're Mundirs. We're warning everybody about what it is. So far, we've been right. If we were right 9 or 10 times in a row, it would make no difference. Just as we're human, we should be wrong sometime, right? You don't want to be right all the time, because then you start looking too good, right? Well, for us, it would be no big deal. But other people, imagine they're right all the time. It's going to start working on their brain. When they start getting arrogant, then their magic goes away. Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so Black Lives Matter. We just went down there and had a good time. All the people here and there and around, my goodness, it's just so many. So this is what our policy is to turn everything over to Allah. But since Allah gave us a limited free will, we'll try to hook a few things up, but we don't try to add the cocktail like we're not saying we're going to put a little bit of this in there, a little bit of that. We just say, well, and when we get a little signal from somewhere, the environment, we say, okay, that's enough of that, and we'll put a little of this in there. That's what we have been doing for decades now. That's what we've been doing for decades. And the people that are against us, you have to call them the cruelest people that ever existed almost. Because they're sending dog whistles, what white folks call, and all other kind of signs and symbols based on Nazism. Remember, who's the closest acting people today and in the past? Zionists and Nazis. They're exactly the same. How the Jews were treated by the Germans, right? The Zionists are treating the Palestinians word for word, exactly collective punishment. You scare one German, we're gonna kill all of you. We're gonna kill 200-300 of y'all, or maybe 1,000. Right? How many ever we want? Can you imagine how disciplined the people got to be that they build a house? Now, we do a little work every now and then, but building stuff takes work. Like that little basketball court out there, it don't look like much. But I had to mix concrete. Now, I don't know if y'all ever did. Has anybody ever mixed concrete by hand? Hey, man, you got to be a monster. That makes you a gorilla just to do it by hand. You're doing everything by hand, and you smoothing it out by yourself, so it may be a little ridgy, but you still got a court. You still got a court. Okay. Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Yemen, on and on. Fundraise, yes, we'll fundraise. We'll mention something about fundraising tomorrow. Nothing's working for Boss Man. It don't seem like nothing is working for him. But everything that we're doing, it seems like it's working. Everything we're doing and everything that we have said, won't be no Arab Spring. That was 10 years ago. Well, it'll be in 2 months from now. You know, that was 2011. Yep. But this is the time when it was all happening. Right now, 10 years ago. Can you see that 10 years don't mean nothing to us? 10 years, people, their whole lives change or improve. We don't count the time like that. No, sir. Okay, so we'll move a little bit. Courage and the spirit of resistance. Work produces a good feeling. Work does put a good, not the finished product, but just to work for Islam is a good feeling. Neutralize, sanction in our hands. Sanctions in our hands, removing them in their hands. Oh yeah, that's something the Rahbar is saying. That he was saying that they was talking about the Rahbar had been hiding and he done got sick and he about to die. You know, that's what they were saying because they hadn't saw him in a little while. So he just come out and he was, the Rahbar says what we say 95% of the time. He says what we say. Okay. And he was saying that we're not going to be jumping up and down. We're glad the old man is gone, but we're not going to, just lose our cool. So he moved toward neutralizing the situation. Oh yeah, this is what it is. Sanctions is in our hands. Removing them is in their hands. So we can deal with sanctions. That's within our ability, our hands. Removing them is in their hands. He's saying they ought to remove the sanctions and everything. But we can't make them do it, and we're not going to ask them too many times. Okay. Iran and how we treated Iran. We treated Iran fine. When we started talking about the Islamic Republic, over 10, 12 years ago, we knew then that it was not the top echelon people that was doing. This was something that a clique of people are doing. And eventually, with Allah's help, they'll learn that that cliquism is not going to work. You got to have unity of the nation. Okay. I am not sorry about any of my decisions, especially Iran and the Negro. Why? This is the world. Okay. We talked about our contact with people. Rashid Ghanouchi was head of, we had programs with him in London. We've had all kind of programs with Allama Zakzaki. By doing what we're doing, we gave all what we had to what we was doing. But in the process, we got to meet and talk to and discuss and re-meet over and over again all the future leaders, right, of all the big stuff that's going on in the world. We right on the spot. You see? So, and all of our people, Hezbollah is in pocket, leadership in Iran is in pocket, and the leaders that are not happy with the way things are going are not on our team anyway. Right? So it's been a blessing all the time. And we've been against Saudi Arabia. That's great. We got the whole good show. No Arab Spring, Know what you are doing and why. Okay. Various points of attack we'll talk about later. Steps to resistance. What to resist? Yeah. Are there any questions or any comments about anything that we have said so far?
I thought it was interesting that you started with Evita and Nazi
Connection.
connection.
Yeah.
Because earlier I had read on RT that Russia had this Nazism comic, vote against Nazism. The U.S. and Ukraine voted no. And Germany and other EU countries abstained from it.
Right.
And so I thought that was interesting because it fits that it could, you're going to be a country that's going to vote no against against the historical understanding of what Nazism is. That definitely doesn't look good.
The other thing is, people don't expect us Negroes to make those connections, and nobody else have hit those points. I mean, that easy. When I was just looking on the thing, I remember, of course, we see old Don, but I looked on it, it said Covita, so I just, Covita. And the woman is singing a song, and the history, see, living in South America, looking at the uniforms, I said, man, them look like the old German uniforms, that hat that goes like that, and the puffy pants down here, and small down here. I said, man, all them guys, they look, that looks like a Nazi uniform. And then little stuff. I don't know if I mentioned, but I think I have. I'm in Bolivia. The first night I get to Bolivia, the club I'm at, there's an Italian. They lost World War II. There's a German, and then there's Japanese. Now, I think they were all agents because they was pretending like they was going to fight each other. And it was the Italian that knew martial arts. I said, man, by then I was kind of aware of what was going on. I said, I'm not going to chew that up. I know who these people are, but I'm a Negro, so let's act like one. Keep it in mind. So I watched the process, and then the next couple of days I'm leaving La Paz, and I go all over the country. Before I go, I look, and there's another Argentinian on display, the pictures. Che Rivera was killed in Bolivia. And they had all of the pictures, his body laying out. I said, hey man, I'm gonna go and get on out of here. Because you can only hold so much. So I wasn't really aware that Che Rivera at that time was killed in Bolivia. All I just knew, he was with Fidel and everybody liked him, and he was from Argentina too. But here's the thing. When you travel a lot and when you're involved with a lot of things, all that stuff falls into place. So a person or people couldn't acquire all of those fits, just take a course on it, and they start putting all that together. A lot of it, you had to be on the scene and had to get a feeling of the flow. And like we was on this boat going across Lake Titicaca, and the white boy said, that's this German tour group. There's a German tour group, and on the news, they done trapped a Nazi, ex-Nazi, somewhere in Bolivia. It's been on the news for days. And he was laughing. He was CIA, of course. Here come a German tour group, right? They're going to come through. leave one behind and take that one on wherever they want to take them, right? This is what he was saying. And they never find no German tool. And all of that dealing with Nazism. The boys in Brazil. Remember those old movies, The Boys in Brazil? It's all the Nazis all over South America. When they sent in signs and jokes back and forth to each other, and you realize that Nazi gold was supporting some of the strongest regimes down there. And even in these questionings that they have, they say that the CIA, of course, you know who built the CIA? Germans. Germans, Nazis, Heil Hitler.
Okay, I found this on the web.
You found what?
Who built the CIA? Check it out.
Who built the CIA? This is thing. Okay, you got to watch yourself. I'm getting tired of this. I ain't playing now. I'm sitting there talking to the damn phone. It says who built the CIA? Let's see what it says. S.O. Siri. Is that you, Siri? We're suing the CIA to find the body of a tortured. So anyway, let's see what it is. Double power projects. Anyway, well, bump what they say. But I'm going to turn this thing off from now on. Yeah. I guess we don't have to turn in what we've been saying either, because the boss man done already. Well, we're going to keep using it, but what the heck, you know. That helps us fool boss man, because remember, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying phones. Yeah, you go ahead.
No. I like that. It's just that I was sitting there and Siri, I found out who the CIA is, who built the CIA. You know, but that's the way Siri do, you know, and it's fine. It's okay. We don't have to worry about stuff like that. We're under 24/7. And it's comfortable. Okay, what was the question you was going to ask?
Yeah, a brother asked on Facebook, are you aware of any connection between Hitler and Jose Rizal of the Philippines and gold?
And gold.
And gold, yeah.
I'm aware of gold and Adolf Hitler, but not the guy in the Philippines. Did he want to say something? Or did he want to type in something?
I let him know I was going to ask you that. But
No, the Philippines, yeah, definitely. Of course, the Philippines has been our biggest base in that part of the world. And so, okay. Any more questions or comments?
brother said, Assalamu alaikum from South Africa. His name's Kamal Adams. Sister said, beware arrogance and ignorance.
He's telling me to beware of error.
Or just making a comment.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Okay. No, that's fine. Yes.
The program next Thursday, is it gonna be like a panel with, you and,
Sakina? No, we're just,
on it, or?
huh?
I wanted to get the agenda laid out, because I still have to do that flyer for it.
Yeah, just do.
I just wanted to make sure we get the layout of the program out straight, so that,
No, just put her name, Sakina S. Musa, and she'll be dealing with, just put climate change or the importance of climate to the Muslim society, anything like that. But here's what I want you to do. Put sponsored by and put all our names on there. Masjid al-Islam, As-Sabiqun Liberation Movement. Who else are we? Oh, Imam Tufel Strategic Command Center. And see, we're all of that. So it's everybody else put who supports them. So, you know, yeah, it'll be all the stuff we're doing right now is just warm up friendly stuff. Is and so technically the reason are those still on?
Yes.
Okay, well I'll go. Technically, we just want to have a nice. A lot of the Muslims join the public and they feel lonely. They do. Some of the Muslims feel. And that old holiday music will make you sad, you know, because people do. And I even heard old Charles Brown the other day. Bells will be ringing, sad, sad news. Oh, what a Christmas to have the blues. And funny thing about it, Charles Brown used to play at a club every Christmas because there's a lot of black people in Oakland those days. And so, but anyway, holidays make people feel nostalgic and bluesy like. All the people. And then especially if you had let's call it a happy childhood, or even your early marriage, you went by your mother's house, or their mother's house, and all the zillions of children, you know, and everything. That makes people feel, so what we do is we're the new family for the Muslims that want to, so we'll have a nice dinner here, and like we did on that other Turkey Day, we'll have a little dinner and a little talk. Technically, it's just, hopefully it's short to the point, and we might even bring the tables up here on that one. Yeah, so we can, we can stretch out and have a nice eaty-feely, you know, type, Sure, that's what we'll do. Say that again now?
Are we going to have other youth speak at this summit, or is it you just want to keep it at y'all?
Well, no, I thought that, because remember I was asking, is anybody else, got anybody, family, friend, yeah.
I had, I'll follow up with the people. I pitched to them earlier. My nephew was with me for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
I pitched to him, I know he was kind of into rap a little bit.
Right, right,
And you were rap, you were
Right.
so I don't know.
right,
Just trying to get him involved and stuff.
right. Well, we could have one 2021 in January. And because this is so close to that, because even, for instance, if my daughter didn't say anything or didn't follow up or didn't, which she will, inshallah, I was going to give it 10 or 15 minutes talk and call it, it's a day to get together and to make a flyer, and a flyer, every time we look at that flyer, we'll remember that program. Yeah, that's basically the purpose. So if a person just had to participate, it's okay. But we, you know. Well, okay, if they want to, we had brevity in mind. You see what I mean? We had brevity in mind. I mean, because see, Huh? Yeah. Yeah, it's still right. We don't want to. Now, technically, we don't care nothing about Boss Man and him coming by, but they didn't actually. They charge people. They give people fines for having. Yeah, they do, and they're happy with us because they know we didn't have two gigantic funerals, and one of them was outside, and the other one we had two shifts, one staying eat, one going. So definitely people know that we're not going by no rules or nothing. But no, we just want to have a nice dinner, and then we'll follow it up the next day with all the food we have as leftovers. We'll just roll back and knock them over. Yeah, with that, and yeah, that was kind of the idea. Because technically, usually by the time we get this close to the program, we already got the flyers circulating, we passing them around. Because usually we would have it together a month before the program, and that give us time, remember, to go around a couple of times. But this time is just casual. Are there any more questions or comments? Tomorrow, if you could turn these off now. A brother just